Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with another video, and for today's video we are going to do week 4 check-in for my December monthly budget. Yes, week 4. I was trying to remember if I did week 3 last week, and I did. So we're going to do weekly check-in for week 4, which for me personally, that is from the 23rd until the 29th. Every single month, in the beginning of the month, I like to set up my main monthly budget, which you guys see right here. And from then on, I also like to set up my weekly check-ins pages and kind of assign the weeks for myself that I'll be weekly checking in. Usually they are from Monday through Sunday, just because I like to start fresh in the beginning of the week and just film my weekly check-in video, get it up on Monday, and just move on from there. Obviously, it's not going to be like that for everybody, but this is just what I do. So you guys know that the categories that I have are food, which those are both my groceries and eating out cash envelopes. I also have gas, which is just by itself right here. Next I have shopping, which shopping is both my allowance and beauty, and those 5 are my cash envelopes that I like to weekly check in for every single week of the month. And the reason I like to do the weekly check-in is because I like to see how much I've spent for the week, as well as how much I have remaining for the month. And this way I can see how much money I'll have to spend every week, as well as, and I honestly never tend to overspend in my cash envelopes just because of the weekly check-in. So last but not least, I also like to check in for any unbudgeted expenses, which tend to happen to the best of us. I actually haven't had any unbudgeted expenses lately, but never say never, because those usually tend to come at me at random times when I least expect them to. So those are all the categories that we'll be checking in for. But first and foremost, I'm going to lay down my budget expense stickers, which this is a little key that I have here for all of the categories that I like to weekly check in. One category that's here that's not in my weekly check-in would be other, which for me the yellow would just mean any other expenses that I may have that aren't necessarily cash envelopes, but that I do include in my monthly budget. So those would be, I know for this month I have 2. I have Christmas, for the Christmas party that me and my boyfriend were hosting, as well as I have a maid of honor category because my sister's getting married. I feel like I've said this in every single video, in the middle of January. So I do have a category. I believe I only budgeted $50 this month for some shoes to go along with my maid of honor dress. I'm probably going to also budget for that in January, and you guys will see that in my January monthly budget, which stay tuned for that. I have added a couple of different categories actually, so really excited about that. But for this week, we are looking at the 23rd until the 29th. So I do have my budget expense stickers from my shop right here. I did use quite a few. I did have quite a few expenses last week, which I think it's a good thing because in prior weeks I have not been spending that much. So let's see, we have those, and then I have my no spend stickers, which I'll be using for the days that I haven't spent any money. And then I have my payday sticker, which I think I'll start with my payday sticker. I did end up getting paid, well, my shop got paid on the 24th. And then if you guys are wondering where I keep my transactions for my cash envelopes, I like to keep them in this micro happy planner, and I just have them like so. I always show this, but just in case I have any new followers watching, this is where I keep all of the transactions. So all my transaction logs are in here, which I have for every single cash envelope in there. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's see, first and foremost, I did spend money on the 23rd, but they are for my sinking funds, so I'll go ahead and show you guys that, of course, once I'm done with my weekly check-in. But on the 24th, I gave my mom $100. I've mentioned this in the beginning of the month. I do have family over from Peru, so I did agree to give a little bit more money for groceries this month towards that, so that was on the 24th. And then another expense that I had on the 24th was for 7-Eleven, which I got that out of my allowance. I went over my Christmas sinking fund by $17, and like I mentioned, I told you guys that I was going to take that money out of my allowance, and I did. So I ended up getting some last minute stocking stuffers, which included just like chips and scratchers. So I went over $17 of my Christmas sinking fund, which was totally fine. I just went ahead and took that money out of my allowance cash envelope since I did have some money in there, and that way I didn't have any unbudgeted expenses. So it really comes down to what you want to do. I could have easily just marked that as an unbudgeted expense, but since I had money in there, I just went ahead and brought it out of that. Nothing on the 25th, nothing on the 26th, but on the 27th, there was a couple of things actually. On the 27th, I went to Sally's. I finally bought my hair dye, as well as I got some developers, so that was $29. I also got the shoes that I'll be using for the wedding, for my sister's wedding, and that turned out to be $34. And once again, that is going to be in an other sticker because that is not a cash envelope expense. And then last but not least, on that same night, I gave my boyfriend $40 for gas. I don't typically give him money for gas, but like I mentioned, I did have some extra money, and Paul is really good about driving both me and my family this month especially around. So I decided to just give him $40, and honestly I have more than enough to last me for pumping gas once more for myself. I could actually pump like twice more and I'd still be fine. So that was on the 27th, and then on the 28th, I did a lot of spending on this day. On the 28th, I went to the mall, and I put a snack here, but it also, I don't know if you guys have ever, I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit so you guys can see. I don't know if you guys have ever gone to the mall and have purchased little cereals, they're little balls, and once you eat them, it's like basically not like smoke that comes out. I don't know how to explain it, guys, but I took my cousins and my aunt and uncle to the mall, so as well as my brother, and he was just really excited about them trying that out, so I just spent $7 for that. And then after the mall, I dropped them off at Marshall's, and after picking them up, I decided to treat them to some Starbucks. So I just went ahead and reloaded my Starbucks gift card to $15 because I did have some money saved in there, as well as I went to Superior this day, and I went for two reasons. One was to pay the car tags of my old car, which I don't know how long you guys have been following me, but I've been trying, well, not actively honestly, but I've had an older car that I want to sell, and hopefully that will mean that there will be some extra income to put towards my savings, because I will talk about my savings and financial sort of goals in my January monthly budget, to be honest, as well as my sinking funds, just because my priorities have definitely changed. So stay tuned for those videos, but I'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about the car tags once we get to the sinking fund, because I did end up paying for that day. And I also just got, I think, like some eggnog for my family and orange juice. And then last but not least, on the 28th, if that wasn't enough of the food expenses, I ended up going to Chick-fil-A. If you guys don't know, Chick-fil-A is one of my favorite fast food places, and I definitely wanted my cousins to try it. I think I've been hyping up Chick-fil-A for so long, even like last year when I went to Peru. So I ended up treating them to Chick-fil-A, and that was $34. Although this is a little confusing because I have both my groceries and eating out cash envelopes. Once again, for the trackers, I only take out money specifically from groceries if they were groceries, and from eating out from my eating out cash envelopes. So everything is separated in the trackers, and each envelope has their respective amount of money. So I never really get confused at all, even though I'm sure you guys get confused once I make my videos, because I group several of my cash envelopes together. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that was it for the expenses for this week. A lot of expenses on Friday and Saturday, but that is okay. So now I'm going to take my no spend stickers on the days that I didn't have any expenses. Now, I did make expenses, I believe, like this day from my sinking funds, as well as I had another one on the 28th, but those are completely separate from this monthly view. This is typically the money that I budget for in the month, and whatever I spend for my sinking funds, I end up putting that on a transaction log specifically for sinking funds, so it's completely separate. Okay, so now that I have all those stickers laid down, we can go ahead and weekly check in for this. So for food, once again, that's going to be our pink sticker. I have 5 pink stickers here, and those were 100 for groceries, 34 for Chick-fil-A, 11 Superior, 15 Starbucks, and 7 for that snack. In total, I spent $167 from my food. And looking at our remaining from last week, so minus $185, that means that I should still have $18 left over, and I'm going to bring out my trackers to see what that is for. So groceries is the one that I'm left over with 18, because as you guys can see from my eating out expense log, I bought the Puff Little Balls, that's what I called it on here, and after Starbucks and Chick-fil-A, I was left with $0. So I have $18 in my groceries cash envelope right here. So 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, and it turns out that I still do have some money in my eating out, and the reason being is because I actually purchased from the app on my phone, so I should still have the 34, which I have to put back in my bank account. Yeah, because it was $34 that I spent for Chick-fil-A. So 25, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these $34 are going to go back into my bank account. There's nothing I'm eating out. And then next for gas, I spent $40. And let me just go ahead and check these off. So I spent $40. I gave those to Paul. So I'm just going to check it off as I'm going here. So spend was 40, and then remaining would mean that I have $80 left. My gas cash envelope, which I haven't pumped gas, 20, 40, 60, 70, 80. It typically also takes me $40 to fill up my tank, so I'm going to be filling it up once, and then I'll still have probably $40 left, which I'm thinking I'm going to just put straight to savings at the end of the month. Next we have shopping, which is all of the teal stickers. So we have 17 plus 29, that is $46 that I spent for shopping. So 95 minus 46, that means that I should still have $49. For allowance, I should have 13 after 7-Eleven. So we have 10, 11, 12, and 13. And then for beauty, after Sally's, we should have $36. So let's check. 20, 30, 35, 36. I wanted to go ahead and get my nails done with this money, but I honestly think I'm going to wait and just get my nails done right before the wedding, just because I was trying to check when the next time that I'll be getting my nails done would be, and it's not close enough to the wedding as I would want it to be, so I think I'm just going to roll that money over. That's what I think I'm going to do, because we only have 2 days left in the month, and I definitely will not be able to get it done today. It's way too late right now as we speak. So I think I'm definitely probably going to roll over that money, and I think that's all that I have to weekly check in for. Yes, I don't have any unbudgeted expenses. Those would be a little red sticker, and for the yellow ones, I tracked those in my budget results video, if you guys were wondering. So I didn't spend anything from budgeted, and then just a dash because we don't budget for that. So that concludes pretty much the weekly check-in part of this video. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys to my sinking funds, but just lastly, I just want to go ahead and just look at my cash envelopes. Like I mentioned, we only have 2 days left in this month, so me having $18 in my groceries is pretty good. Eating out should be fine because we're probably going to eat at home tomorrow for the 31st. Gas, we're perfectly fine. Allowance, I'm pretty sure that money will either go to savings or I'll roll it over. And then salaries, we have 36, which same thing. So we're all good there. And now moving on to my sinking funds, which I have on the very first page. I've had a couple of expenses actually. I spent money for my entertainment sinking fund on the 23rd. I actually spent all the money that I had there, which was $50, because I wanted to take my cousins out bowling. So I ended up treating them to that. I'm kind of doing that just because, like I've mentioned, I want to spend more time with my cousins and just family before they go back to Peru. And since I do have that money in there, I thought that I would just use it, you know, because that's what it's for. So that's what I spent on the 23rd. Then for date night on the 26th, I just paid $7 for tip. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings, me and Paul, with Ivana and Joel. And then last but not least, I took it out of car payment because I don't remember if you guys remember in the beginning of the month and last month I had a car tag sinking fund, which I ended up taking out because I ended up financing my car now, and car tags for that were going to be included in the payment that starts in January actually. And so I took out my car tag sinking fund and just transferred the money to my car payment, and it all really works out because I have more than enough money to cover one payment for next month, as well as I'll be putting more money in January. And I ended up paying $145 towards the car registration tags for my Camry, which was my older car. I think somebody asked me if I've sold that car yet, and we have not. We're actually trying to sell it right now as we speak. My dad got his game on and he is trying to sell that, and hopefully that gets sold in January. But of course I had to get the car tax for that, so I went ahead and did that. So I'm really glad that even though I didn't have to pay for the car tax for my new car, I still was saving that money and had some to cover for my old car tax. And well, I feel like I've stressed this time and time again, but I just really love sinking funds. I always have, and I've always believed in the idea of them. So I'm really glad that I was able to pay for that. And even if it was $145, it's probably going to be paid off once somebody, let's say, ends up buying the car. So that is pretty much all of the transactions that I have for my sinking funds, which once again are completely separate from the rest of my budget. So I think the last thing that I just have to show you guys that I typically show is my variable income sources and sort of transactions. I actually haven't had any. I actually forgot last week to note one, which is crazy because I've been having this since like February, and it was on the 17th for $29. It was from Simply Gilded, and it was for the sub box, which it's crazy that I missed that when I was tracking the other ones, but that's okay. I just went ahead and included that last, and I haven't actually bought anything aside from that. I'm pretty proud of myself, as I'm just trying to keep things light and not purchase too many things before the end of the year. I also just want to go ahead and mention this because I ended up getting a bit of money from Amazon affiliate, and I don't estimate anything for this because I don't ever expect it. Amazon, as well as from Ebates, which I always have a link for down below, and it's just a referral link which basically just gives you cash back on any online purchases through the app Ebates. I don't think it's called Ebates now. I think it's like Rakuten or something like that. But in total, I wasn't estimating anything, and I'm just going to show you guys so you guys can see. I ended up getting $47.32, and I just combined them both since I didn't have any more space, and they're both pretty much the same thing. So that's what I got from those two, which is a pretty good amount of money if you ask me. So if you guys would like to get, I believe you get $10 for Ebates, go ahead and check out the links down below. I always put that in every single video. But with that being said, that is pretty much all that I have for this video. Make sure you stay tuned to my next couple of videos, which, like I mentioned, will be my budget for January. I can't believe we're already heading to the new year and a new decade. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel if you guys are not subscribed already, and hopefully I will get to see you guys on my next video. Bye guys.